Podcast, a platform created to entertain, educate, and evolve the modern-day deer hunter. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Deer Hunter Podcast. A couple quick notations before we get started here on our recorded episode. Two things. One, this week's episode will be a bit different than any that we've done in the past. This is the first installment of, and I plan on doing a lot of these going forward. I don't know, we're trying to come up with some catchy name, right? That's what you got to do. Come up with some kind of catchy name for this segment. But basically what we're doing is just calling in guys that have listened to the show for the last couple of years. Guys from around the country that share a lot of similarities in the style and manner that they hunt as we do, but also guys that live in different regions of the country and can provide some interesting insight as to, their local demographic and hunter numbers, hunting public, what it takes to hunt public land in those regions, what it would take for anybody that wanted to travel to those areas to do that. So I think it'll be a powerful tool going forward to just share information. And also, we've got, of course, no shortage of listeners that are characters in their own right. So there's some entertainment value to be had on some of these. We recorded 2 episodes of this so far. This will be the first installment. Our friend Harry Stanley, he hunts a lot of public land down in Texas. And we were very curious to talk to him about what it takes to hunt down there. There was some things that I kind of assumed and that he confirmed, and there was some stuff that he brought up that I would have never even really thought about until he did. And we're going to be doing a lot of these going forward. So if it's something that you hear and you're interested in jumping on the phone with us here one of these weeks and recording an episode, reach out, and we'd love to have you on as well. So that being said, the other thing I wanted to mention is if you are in Michigan, or you're not in Michigan and you want to travel to northern Michigan to see it, the Pigeon River State Forest area, there is an organization, a handful of organizations that are coming together the weekend of May 4th and 5th. The primary effort will be May 4th. There is a collective effort between a few different conservation groups to do a cleanup on an 80-mile stretch of the high country pathway. What does that mean? It means Saturday we will be meeting and organizing. I will have all the links for the information for this event in the show notes, and I plan on going, gathering some friends and some family, going up there for the weekend, camping. It's morel season, so it's not a bad time to be up there. We should be at right before the bugs start, getting out, so it's like a beautiful time to just be in the woods, period, and get to see part of the, the Lower Peninsula's most pristine wilderness that there is, the Pigeon River State Forest. So if that's something that you're potentially interested in, I will have that information in the show notes. he can contact me, get some more information, and in the next upcoming weeks, I'll be bringing it up again as I have a better game plan as to what I'm doing. But I do know I was in my bin of hunting stuff yesterday. I have a bag of dark timber gravity packs left from last season, and looking at my Kafaru tent, and I was thinking, man, I am just ready to get out and to use those things and to do some scouting, and I think that's going to be probably realistically one of my first opportunities to do so. So if that's something that you're interested in, check it out in the show notes, get registered, get a hold of me, see where we plan on camping. I know Saturday after the trail cleanup, there's a couple different groups that are donating food and beer. There's going to be a big meetup. People are going to be hanging out, socializing. It just sounds like a great event. So if it's something that you want to be involved with, pay attention in the next couple weeks to how we're laying our plan out for heading up there for the weekend, and get into the show notes. I believe it's the Friends of the PRC website that all the information is through, and there is like a registration on there as well if you know that you want to go. So that being said, enjoy this week's podcast, and I'll probably get another installment of this out this week. As I said, we recorded a couple of these here back last weekend, and I just need to get them edited and get them out. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you soon.
That's awesome.
Little day drink and never hurt anybody.
I strapped on my drinking boots.
Hello, daytime whiskey.
Yeah, that'll fix you up quick. What you got there, a little whiskey?
A little Woodford. Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Nice and neat.
Well, everything's looking pretty good. What we're going to do here today, it's Saturday, March 2nd.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Currently of the hour of 12:49 p.m. Ryan's just bringing Hunter back from a dentist appointment. He just called me, so he'll be over in about an hour, which gives us an hour, and this will be our first installment of having some listeners join us via the Deer Hunter Podcast hotline. And so
1-900 make out with a guy.
Yeah.
1-900 wet butt.
We're going to have, are you familiar with Texas Public Land Hunter on Instagram? One Mr. Harry Stanley.
No, I'm not.
Okay. He's an interesting gentleman. Looks like he's a HVAC technician in Texas.
Uh-huh.
I see him on a lot of rooftops. And he hunts a lot of public land in Texas, and he mobile hunts. So I thought he'd be an interesting guy to have on, just long distance from where we are and what we do, but I know he tunes in weekly.
Nice.
And
Quite
he
the American there. You don't get a more American name than Harry Stanley, and then you hunt public land in Texas. So
yeah. He looks like he's American.
Checks all the boxes.
For
Nice.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. I always hear people. I've never really looked into it, the whole public land deal in Texas. Like,
There's not much.
yeah, that
He's gonna know more than us.
We'll dial him up and find out, huh? And then,
Whip 'em out.
we'll continue doing this. I had asked people to message in if they were interested in being on, and I got about a dozen inquiries. So today will be the first day that we get to start doing this, and then I think we'll just continue to do it until too many of them go off the rails and the inquiries stop coming in, right?
Do you have a panic button?
Right. So, let's phone him in.
We'll just Oscars them. Just cue the music.
Hello?
Harry.
Hey.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
How's it going, man?
How's it going?
Good.
So, myself, my brother Drew, and Nick are here. We're sitting in a garage here in Michigan with a propane heater running. It's currently 30 degrees out. What do you got going on?
It's 65 degrees here. I'm in a t-shirt.
All right.
Lucky.
T-shirt and coveralls, if I had to guess by following you on Instagram.
Definitely, definitely.
You look pretty invested in coveralls, huh?
Yeah, I like wearing those to work.
Are you a Pointer brand man?
Do what?
Are you a Pointer brand man?
No, Roundhouse.
Roundhouse, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see a lot of those at work too.
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, I think they're made in Tennessee or South Carolina.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good deal, man. So, yeah,
Yep.
you're our first phone-in listener that we've ever had here on the show. So, fair
Sweet.
warning, congratulations. I don't know which way it's going to go, but
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oh, it's gonna go.
we
It's gonna go
figured
somewhere.
it would be just interesting to converse with you because obviously I know for a while now you've followed the show, so you get some entertainment or educational value out of it. But what it looks like you do has some similarities to what we do, but vastly different at the same time, right? So you mobile hunt and hunt a lot of public land. What public land
Yeah.
there is in Texas, right?
Yeah, and there's more than what people think, but there's also not near as much as people think either. It's a giant state, so if it's a smaller state and it had the same amount, it'd probably be, the ratio would be better. But it is a big state, lots of private land, but there is quite a bit of public land, at least near me.
If you had to guess, like a percentage base of the state that's public versus private, what would you put it at?
It seems like everybody tends to lean toward private land hunting. We use what's called we call it a deer lease system. So a landowner, let's say they want to pay their property taxes for the year, they'll get 4 or 5 guys. You pay your money, and they let you hunt on there for the year. It kind of seems like if you tell people you hunt on public land, they almost think you're going to ask them for $20 like you're poor.
Oh,
So, yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's frowned upon, but people think you're hard up for money or something. It's kind of funny.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wondered how it would be received there because, I know the culture in Texas, from what I've heard, is pretty much a lot of private land hunting.
Yeah.
But, huge land mass, right? So even if 1% of the land mass in Texas was public land, that's still a sizable amount of public land.
For sure. Yeah, we got near me. We have the Sam Houston National Forest, which I think is it's at minimum 150,000 acres. And then we have lots and lots of little small portions. If you want to bird hunt, being a public land guy is not too bad. There's lots of little bird hunting spots everywhere for birds, ducks, doves, all that stuff. But for deer hunting, it's a little more limited.
Is it competitive? I mean, are you constantly running into other guys, or do you kind of have it, do you find to yourself?
It depends on where you're at. I found it not really hard to out hunt other guys. You don't have to get real far off the trail to get away from the pressure. The place I mostly hunted last year was not the big national forest, but it was an archery only area, and I'd only see 2 or 3 vehicles in the driveway at one time. So I never really ran into too many people over there.
You mobile hunt. You don't. Have you done that all along, or did you used to hang stands or hunt from the ground? I mean, or you've been running? I know it looks like you run a lone wolf setup,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I got the lone wolf now. When I first started, I had a all steel climber, which was about probably 70 pounds. It felt like.
Yeah.
And ropes for straps, and that was my first year hitting the national forest, and that thing was horrible, man. And so I hunted with that, ended up selling it. The following year, I bought a whole bunch of those $40 stands from the store, and hung as many of them as I could, locked them all up. Obviously, all the animals started patterning me, so that didn't work out, and so I decided to go ahead and get the lone wolf, and it kind of, the whole thing started, I'd haul it in because I just didn't want it to get stolen, was my whole deal. So just the carrying back and forth, then I figured out how to mobile hunt and started going that route. But I've done a lot of ground hunting and stuff like that too.
Dude, there's got to be some heavy repercussions in Texas for stealing another man's tree stand. I gotta imagine it's dealt
Yeah.
with in a
And I think I'm the only guy that owns a lone wolf stand. It feels like.
really.
Yeah, a lot of those guys in the national forest is a lot of straight pine trees, and it seems like the stand is the Summit Viper.
Yeah, you
Everybody seems to have that,
bet.
which is a good stand.
It is. I have that stand.
Yeah.
They are light and they are comfy once you're up there, but climbers are just a pain in the ass to me.
Yeah, I'm not. After dealing with that one, it's just real noisy for the setup. I can creep up with that lone wolf and pretty quietly. I did it one time at least. Either it was a stupid deer or I'm that good. But it was 50 yards away feeding, and I got all the way up in the tree set up, and it was still hanging out over there.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way to get up. I mean, if there's a way to do it, I don't know about getting up in a tree without kind of making enough noise for everything within a half mile to hear you in a climber.
I know it. Yeah. It's loud.
So did you, going back, did you grow up in Texas? Did you grow up hunting?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, when I was a little kid, my dad would take me out. I remember probably my first time sitting with him. He made a blind out of just logs. He just stacked them all up real good, and real vague memory. But I was a little kid, and my dad said, "See that deer?" And I said, "No, I can't see him." And we went back and forth like that forever, and I never did see the deer. And then, so he made sure to just take me along, even if I didn't want to go. We always had we'd go on deer leases and such. We'd go fishing, turkey hunting. Kind of when I was a little bitty kid, that's when the hogs started becoming a thing. So we'd start, we were really kind of heavy on hog hunting. He's got a friend that's got a giant ranch, or it's not his ranch, but he works on it. And we'd hog hunt out there, and we just kind of bounced around with the deer lease thing pretty much up until me doing the public land thing about 4 years ago. That's when I stopped really doing the deer lease.
gotcha. So you shoot a lot of animals. You got pigs, so that's an opportunity. And from what
Yes.
we don't have pigs here in Michigan, so that's, well, I guess we have a little bit of it, but
Yeah.
it's not an issue locally or any of the places that we hunt. I've never seen a pig while hunting, but from what I've seen, it looks like a pretty good opportunity to put some pretty good table fare in your household. Is that true?
Oh, well, the way Texas works, you can fill your freezer, you can fill your family's freezer, you can fill everybody's freezer, and not even punch a tag. That's, but yeah, that you can hunt them all year by any means necessary. On public land, there's some rules, but if you're on private land, there's almost no rules on pig hunting.
Right.
That's awesome.
I've seen the videos of guys in like helicopters and stuff.
Yeah,
Pork
I've done it out of a pickup truck with an AR-15 before.
Nice.
Tape a flashlight to your bow, hunt them at nighttime. It can get wild.
Can you hunt them at night on public land?
No, I think it's not so much. People think it's because I think it's more of a safety thing. You
Yeah,
might shoot
right.
somebody.
Right.
But everybody kind of gripes about that. But yeah, you can't do it on public land.
Well, if they're that big of a problem, it's probably not very hard to find private land to go shoot pigs off of anyways, huh?
It's not. Some of the people, I think it's more of a they hate the pigs, but they really don't want a bunch of hoodlums running around with rifles on their property either. So
Right.
you can definitely door knock, and I got some permission land I do it on,
Mm-hmm.
but it's totally doable.
That's good.
But those things look like they make pretty good table fare. I mean, I seen an
They
episode
do.
of Meat Eater where they rub the thing down, smoke it, and it looked awesome. They said it's kind of like I don't know. Can you describe what it ends up tasting like?
Pretty much like pork. Just it's a lot leaner. It's going to be like kind of a cross between deer meat and pork, just for the lean factor.
Sure.
But it does depend on what the pig's been getting into. If they're getting into some real nasty stuff, they will taste pretty funky.
Gotcha.
A big, huge, stinky boar, they can get a little funky. We found that if it's a big, nasty boar, you just put them in a cooler and let them just keep them on ice and keep draining the water out for a couple days, and that funkiness kind of goes away. And it's not near as bad. But sometimes you can smell it when you cook it, but you don't really taste it.
Okay.
Filthy little pig.
But I'd say the best is about 100-pound sow is the best eating.
Yeah, man, it just looks like a great opportunity. I mean, I don't know, it interested me, like, seeing you posting the photos of that. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I'd like to come down there and shoot some pigs and have a freezer full of pork. Like, that sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely a lot of fun. They're not good for the land, but man, it is a blast. It's definitely a lot of fun to do.
So, are you, when you're hunting, are you, primarily like a whitetail hunter? What's your season like? I mean, I know there's like you've showed some, game, trail camera photos with like some exotic species and
Yeah,
stuff, even on public land, right?
yeah. I believe that was a red stag I caught on my camera. There is a game ranch not far from that spot, and maybe something slipped through the fence or something. Uh, which those on public land, that's free. That's free game as far as
Really?
anybody's concerned. Yeah.
Awesome.
Especially if it doesn't have a tag in its ear or nothing, it's all yours. Um, the whitetail season generally opens up October. I wouldn't say October 1st, but it'd be like the first weekend of October, and we go all the way. You can deer hunt up into February in some places.
Okay.
Depends on the county. Um, yeah, when you get your license, you get 5 whitetail tags. That's 2 bucks, 3 does, 2 mule deer tags, 2 javelina tags, and 2 turkey tags.
Dang.
And then, like I said, you can hunt all year and not even look at your hunting license the whole season. You can fill your freezer.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That's that's a lot of critters. That's a
Mhm.
lot of opportunity to put arrows and bullets through things.
Yes. Yeah. And it seems like Texas is more of like a gun state. They really favor the rifle season.
Mm-hmm.
Archery season is during October when it's 110 outside.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people bow hunt here because it's understandably really hot.
Sure.
And then November is when they call it general season, so you can use a rifle or a bow or whatever you want. And then we have a late muzzle loader. There's not a lot of muzzle loader hunting goes on either because I think everybody's pretty much done with it by then.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also, as far as public land goes, there's also lots of draw hunts. The draw hunts are, I'm probably shooting myself in the foot, but they're really cheap to put in for. I did one season. I put in for almost all of them, and I drew 5 hunts, and they're really really good premium hunts.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it's not like other states. It'd be like a managed piece of property that's managed by a biologist, and they'll let's say it's a whitetail hunt. It's just a manicured place. They give you a little area to hunt, and you'll be getting run over by deer the whole time. It seems like it's pretty cool hunts.
Dude,
And
that's
anything
awesome.
from whitetail to exotics to pigs to pronghorn antelope to mule deer. You can just kind of take your pick on those.
Is that something that's just open to residents, or is it a non-resident thing also?
I think non-residents can put in for it. For me, it's $3 to put in for each one, and then some of them are $10 for guided hunts. I believe non-residents can put in, but I don't think it's much. I don't think it costs very much.
Huh.
And then when you draw it, it's like $100 and something for me.
Yeah, for the tag.
So what's your driving motive? Are you obviously, like, here in Michigan, everybody's whitetail nuts. I mean, are you like a whitetail nut, or are you just going out there to be out there? Whatever comes through, you're happy to shoot, or do you have like I guess, like, what are your goals throughout the season?
Mostly I'm after whitetail deer. I'm tracking whitetail deer, and that's I want to get a nice good buck, of course, but I'm really not picky. If it's legal, I'll take it down. The pig thing, I did shoot a lot of them. It felt like this season, but they just start rolling in, and I like to shoot stuff with arrows. So if it's legal, I want to shoot, and then but I like putting some meat in the freezer. I'm not real picky. Is kind of my whole thing, but I'm mostly after deer meat.
And so your mobile hunting, I mean, yeah, like you just said, everybody, just like most people, everybody ideally wants to shoot a big buck.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's kind of your strategy down there? Are you hunting terrain features?
Yeah, it's pretty flat. When you get in the national forest, the big one over here, it gets a little hilly. Um, I I probably haven't got it figured out like the guys in the Midwest, but the vegetation here is a lot thicker. It seems like. And the area I hunted last season was all floodplain, so it's flat anyway. So ideally, I was trying to find more dry spot to hunt. Uh, I'm trying to go after bedding areas. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's they can go in some thick stuff, and they'll never be seen again. And then, not to mention, a deer's not the only thing with hooves out here. So a deer can walk through where a bunch of hogs went, and you'll never find their tracks again, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
We're pretty spoiled in Michigan to only have
Right.
basically deer and elk. So
Because 2017, I shot a big buck, and I didn't make as good of a shot as I thought. Bumped him. Had to come back the next morning. Found him again. Ended up shooting him again, and was tracking him. I tracked him from 7 a.m. till about 5 p.m. Tracking hoof tracks, no blood. And then he walked through where a bunch of pigs went. And, of course, there's 1,000 hoof tracks going in every direction. And I could never get back on his tracks again. It was really tough.
What do you do to combat, like, is there anything you can do to combat the heat? I mean, you walk
no.
are you hunting in shorts and a t-shirt and
Practically.
Body paint.
just
Yeah.
rolls in a pig wallow, gets covered in clay, and goes sits in the tree
Yeah,
stand.
man, it is unbelievably hot. I do, you definitely want to find a shady tree. The animals don't seem to come out until once the sun's down below the horizon. You got like 5 minutes of legal light left. That's when
Yeah.
they want to come out.
sure.
Yeah.
But I did sit one tree, and it was in the most blazing hot spot I've ever sat in my life. But yeah, you definitely got to carry a lot of water. Of course, I work in the heat, so I'm a little used to it. But it's like, I don't know how to describe it other for y'all. I know it gets so cold you can't even go outside. It's kind of like that, but with the heat. It
Right.
gets that hot here. And but yeah, you just got to power through it. It's just carry plenty of water. I do wear sunscreen and stuff, and plenty of bug spray. The mosquitoes are outrageous here too.
Really, all the time?
Yeah. If it's below 50 degrees, you don't have to worry about them. But as soon as it gets above 50, you can see a few flying around.
All right.
Do you ever mess with the thermocell? That's what I use
Yeah.
up here. It's been pretty good up here, but I don't know if you've got Texas-sized mosquitoes down there.
Man, these ones will carry you off. The Thermacell works actually real good. This last year I did these DEET wipes, and they make your skin burn. They probably give you cancer in 10 years. But those work pretty good too. And then I just wear like a neck gaiter over my face to keep them out of my ears and my nose.
Right.
That's the
Ugh.
worst, man. When you got one buzzing in your ear and you're
Yeah.
trying to sit
Yeah.
still.
Or you're wearing a headlamp, and then everything's attracted to that headlamp, which is your face.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had any issues or scares with taking an animal, getting it, field dress and getting it out on ice as soon as possible in that kind of heat? Or
Yeah. With the pigs go funky faster than a deer will. But yeah, you fling that hide off, and what I do is I just carry Western style like game bags
Mhm.
and just throw it, get it off as fast as you can. And throw it in them bags, throw it in my backpack, and I always bring a cooler with frozen jugs in them. So you just throw that mead right there on that ice and let it chill out as soon as you can. But if you can get that thing on ice and about an hour, you're good.
Okay.
It'll come out just fine. Yeah, it's not like you guys just throw it in the back of your truck, right? And it just freezes right there.
Yeah.
Let
I've
it
seen-
sit on the deck for a week, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Sometimes you could drive around town for a couple days showing it off. The thing's frozen like you had it in a freezer.
The garage,
Oh wow.
the garage has become like walk-in freezers. You
Yeah.
can hang deer in your garage for weeks at a time, because it'll be 30 degrees in your garage.
Yeah, we're able to do that too, but it won't. Of course, it won't freeze if it's like in the low 40s. Let it hang for a little while, but
Right.
Mhm.
yeah, if it's warm, just get it in the freezer or get in the cooler as fast as you can. I went in and spent the money and got good coolers because it just that you'll pay a lot of money in ice.
Yeah.
Right.
The money I spent on the good coolers is probably what I've spent in ice in the past.
What yeah, I guess my concern is what happens when say you gut shoot something and you got to let it sit I mean, you're really gambling, right? Like recover.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Like it's an
yeah,
amplified situation with the heat.
yeah. Forget coyotes; it's just gonna get rotten. 'Cause, I mean, I know you guys like using fixed broadheads, and if anybody asks me, I'll say you get a fixed blade broadhead. But I use mechanicals; it gives me a good blood trail, and before they run in that thick stuff, I can track them down. They're generally bleeding really bad with a mechanical
Sure.
for me, and maybe it'll fail one day, but it hasn't yet. My worst season I had was, and I was using fixed blade broadheads. Probably not the right ones, but I just couldn't ever get on a blood trail before they were gone. And
You got one. You got one that you favor?
The one I'm using this year is called the Afflictor, and that one seems to be working really good for me. I've used Grim Reapers before.
Yep.
Those work really good for pigs. What else have I used? I'll shoot a Rage Hypodermic, but I haven't actually shot an animal with it yet. But yeah, just anything that'll get some blood on the ground really quickly. But that Afflictor seems to be holding up pretty good. I shot one. I used one for 2 animals this year, and it finally broke on the second one.
I like those G5 Havoc. I've
Yeah.
shot those in the past, and they just seem a little more durable. Like definitely more durable than a Rage. They're steel versus aluminum ferrule.
Yeah, the Grim Reapers seem to hold up pretty good too, and if the blade snaps off, they're real easy to change out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anything that'll just cut a giant hole in them and you can get some blood on the ground fast.
Yeah, there's just no risking. There's no coming back tomorrow, right? I mean,
No, yeah, if anything, you just go to your truck and get a bigger flashlight. That's all you can do.
right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you're used to the heat. What are you, HVAC tech?
Yeah, that's what I do. Today I'm a part-time painter, but yeah, I do air conditioning, and summertime we're working. Not every day, but that's where I make my money is summertime, and people don't care. They'll get a loan if they need their AC fixed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's
for
that
sure.
bad. But yeah, that's where I make the most money. This time of year it's real mild, so you don't get a lot of calls.
What part of Texas are you in? Like the southern portion of the north?
I live just north of Houston.
Okay.
So I'm about 90 miles from the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
So that's that, and the humidity's real high here too.
Oh, that's great. Super hot and humid. That sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
it's perfect. Yeah, every time I'm listening, those like the Good Hunting clothes are like, yeah, it dries super fast. Yeah, it doesn't happen here. Like your clothes your stuff's just gonna be wet. If you're hanging outside, it's still gonna be wet tomorrow. It's weird, man.
Humidity's brutal. Like right around the lake here, it's summertime. We could just
Yeah. Michigan's got some pretty brutal humidity just from being surrounded by
Does it?
huge Great
Oh.
Lakes, on all three sides of it. So
Right.
it's always damp. It's either hot and damp or cold and damp.
Right. Some of the best hunters I've ever met down here anyway came from Michigan. I met one guy. He could pull some bucks out of the woods real easily. It seemed like. But judging from what y'all end up dealing with, y'all got a lot of hunting pressure, more so than probably what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, there's no shortage of that in Michigan.
And
but-
y'all's deer are real jumpy too.
Oh yeah, they're finicky bastards.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just super dense. A lot of hunters, and I mean, even though we do have a big land mass, if you take the UP out of the equation, it's just it's thick with hunters, which is cool. It provides a cool culture, and everybody likes to hunt, and everybody's into it. And usually, anytime like there's like legal things for hunting or this and that, it's cool because we have a favorable, I guess everybody's allies and on the same page as far as that goes. But yeah, there's some true combat hunting that that happens here, because of it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Texas doesn't seem. I mean, there's a lot of guys that hunt that national forest, but I think the bow hunting that weeds them out for sure. And then you got the guys that only hunt, a couple 100 yards off the road. Part that's tough about some of these areas in Texas is they cut a lot of trails, which is great for access, but I'll go busting brush trying to kind of get away from that access to get away from the pressure, and I bust the trail all the way to another trail. And I'm like, dang, anybody could just kind of walk up between, and
right.
it's like a spider web,
Yeah,
of
that
trails.
that is a terrible feeling when you feel like, man, I've been walking my ass off. I'm in the middle of nowhere. No one's been here.
Yeah.
And then you just
Yeah.
see like somebody walking their dog down a trail 100 yards
Yeah.
from you.
I think
Definitely.
in Michigan, aren't you no more than, was it 1 mile or 3 miles from crossing any kind of road or seasonal road?
3 miles is the max in
Yeah.
the lower peninsula.
Okay.
But it's pretty common to not be able to get a mile.
Yeah.
But 3 miles is about as deep as you can get away from a road.
Yeah, I think I've gone 3/4 of a mile, and I could hear the cars driving by on the same highway I just got off of. It just like looped back, and I didn't realize it. and then you can hear dogs barking from the people on the property.
Dude, there's nothing worse than that when you're sitting in the woods and some asshole like half a mile away has just got like 50 dogs chained up in his yard and they're howling away.
Man, yeah.
That makes
I
my
had
blood
one
boil.
area. I was like, "What are y'all running, a kennel or what, man? What is going
yeah.
on?" And we get, I don't know if it's me, but lots of gunshots all the time. Just
Yeah.
real rapid fire. I'm like, every day is target range day.
We deal with
Yeah.
It's like,
That's my
yeah.
usual. That's my usual dinner music I hear in the spring
Yeah.
and summer every night. A lot
Yeah,
of that going on.
and when I've gone out really early in the morning, you could hear all those pigs. I don't know if I just end up in the thick of them, but you can hear them fighting. You can hear them walking around under your tree stand, all squealing at each other and stuff. It's really weird sounding.
So it's kind of hard to get anywhere where they get like some peace and quiet, huh?
Yeah, and if you do, it like you got all kind of action going on, pigs and stuff.
That'd be a wild new noise for us to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, two boars fighting and just growling and squealing at each other. Yeah, them things get crazy.
Man.
Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I kind of wanted some insight on it because as I,
Yeah.
get a little older, I plan on traveling some places to hunt, and it seems like Texas is its own unique little thing,
Man, yeah, it's definitely neat. It just, you got to really do your homework on doing the public land portion. If I were y'all, I'd look into those draw hunts, because they could be a really premium hunt. Some of them are only 3 or 4 days. I've done it out of a tent. They got their own little camping area. Me and a friend of mine, we're gonna try if we can get it together. He just had a baby, and I'm about to have a baby.
Oh,
But
shit.
we're going to try and go to the Panhandle, see if we can go hunt mule deer on some public ground that I found.
Nice.
So we're going to try and do that, but it's still like a 9-hour drive. But I already got the tag already, so I saved money there.
Yeah, you're committed now.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I come down there, I'm planning on going on a guided hunt by you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that area I was in, I think if you come down for a week, I think we can get everybody. If it's just you'll definitely get a couple of them.
Yeah.
I found that being in a different tree every time, those pigs are real smart. Being in
Are
a
they
different
really?
tree, they're smarter than people think. They'll get real smart to like a trap. They'll kind of avoid a tree if they get shot at more than one time. I think using a bow, they don't really all run off. Just the one you shoot does, but the other ones they see that one run and then they get uncomfortable and they leave. They don't run away.
Similar to deer.
Yeah, and then they see their world with their nose. They don't really depend on their eyes or ears as much. They see you moving, they'll look at you but they don't really, they'll sniff too. But if they catch a whiff of you, they don't even look. They just run. They whatever direction they need to run. But they're smarter than people think. They can figure some stuff out. They'll work their way out of if you have a trap with no bottom, they'll figure out how to lift it up and get out from underneath it, and things like that.
Jeez.
So they figure out pretty quickly that they're prey, huh?
Yeah, we had a pair in a trap, and it had a spring-loaded door where you can't push it open from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And they were hitting the side of it, and one of them, I guess, noticed that door kind of opens a little bit, and he timed it just right and got his nose in there before it closed, and he got out of there. When we're all out there freaking out, this pig comes running out after us. A lot of people think that they're real dangerous. That they can be. As far as people getting charged, it's your fault if you get charged. People be chasing them, and they get them cornered, and the pig basically just gets wore out, and they're gonna turn around and try and gaff you with their tusk. But I've never personally been charged or attacked. I've almost stepped on a few of them, and they all shot out from underneath me, but never been charged. Not yet, anyway.
What's it like? You got a lot of, snakes and spiders and things like that. You got to be concerned about as well out there. Like you got preparations that you need to take for if you go out there and you get bit by something that you shouldn't be getting bit by.
In the summertime, we have a banana spider. I don't know where. I think I think they're more vicious than they look vicious. I don't know if they are vicious. I generally just carry a stick around. And I just I just move the webs out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we got black widows. If you got a stand hanging, you definitely want to check it for black widows. Just that's my opinion.
Man, I would have never even fucking thought of that.
We have them here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We do?
Oh yeah.
Where? I've never seen
And
This area.
of course, we got rattlesnakes. The big diamondback rattlesnake, that's more kind of west of me. But we have the copperheads, water moccasins. Water moccasin to swim up to your kayak. That's always fun.
Yeah.
And then, a copperhead. Copperhead's probably the biggest worry. It's a viper. They're generally about 2 foot long, is a good size one. I've seen a 4 foot long one, and that's a giant. And they look just like the leaves. But I'll find those in my yard and such.
Man, all of a sudden, Lyme disease doesn't seem all that bad. That's the only thing we really got to dick around with.
I think I've only ever had 2 ticks on me in my whole life.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've had at one time I've had like 32 ticks on me.
Yep.
Jeez.
We picked 13 off my dog. The place we went hiking around this morning in the summertime, you go there, and we picked 13 off of her, and probably about 6 or 7 off my wife and I a piece.
I think I'd deal with ticks though, over snakes would kill your ass or put you in the hospital, right?
The rattlesnake definitely will. And they just did a thing in the Sam Houston. They're trying to bring back the timber rattlesnake, and that's every bit as dangerous as a diamondback rattlesnake, for sure. But they're very neat looking snake. I'm glad they're bringing them back. But definitely been watching where I've been walking.
Like I appreciate snakes and the balance that they can bring in the ecosystem, but they scare the shit out of me.
I do not. Fuck those things, dude.
Dude.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh,
hard pass, dude. If they were all gone, I'd be okay.
Dude, you want to see me run in a corner and cower like a girl, just dangle a snake in front of me, like just I don't know what it is. I never had a bad run-in, but
don't know what it is? No arms, no legs.
Oh.
All they do is crawl, slither around
Bite
and eat
stuff.
things.
Yeah, the picture perfect like Texas hunter is wearing snake boots, hunter orange, and got a Summit Viper tree stand on their back and a Matthews bow. That's how you know you're picture perfect down here. It's funny.
It's just the whole Cabela's is just packed full of that stuff. Huh?
Yeah, or a 270 Winchester.
I'll definitely take a pack of UP wolves on my ass and a snake coming at me.
What's dealing with those like?
I've never had to. We hunt
Yeah,
the lower.
we're in the
primarily.
lower peninsula, and we don't have wolves here. In the upper peninsula, they have wolves, but none of us really actively hunt up in the UP, and there's a big bridge and waterway that separate the two, so it's not an issue for us down here. But for up
Yep.
there, people hate it. It's well, there's some people that like having them around, but most people, it sounds like they're pretty rough on the deer,
Yeah.
especially this time of year when you get the winter, and right now, like, we have deep snow, and the wolves can just decimate the young deer, so it makes it tough up there, but I guess all ecosystems have their challenge, but man, I don't know, man, I might even take a pack of wolves over some 4-foot copperhead.
Man, that one I came across, I said, Granddaddy can just go on his way. I'll wait on him. He can pass, Yeah, we don't, unlike y'all, we don't have like a winter kill here. If something freezes to death, it's probably their fault. And of course, I think our deer are probably half the size of y'all's too. They're not real big.
Right, right.
It's just, but the pigs get pretty big. Y'all ever heard of the Hogzilla or whatever it is?
I don't
The
know.
giant pig.
I think I feel like
I feel
this
like
guy
I've seen
had-
a picture of that or
it's like over
something.
1,000
Yeah.
pound or something.
Yeah, the guy had it on his tractor or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, that was not a wild hog. I don't care what anybody says. A giant, massive, biggest wild pig you'll ever see walking around is maybe 300 pounds. It's a big one.
That's a big pig.
And it's been finding somebody's feeder for sure.
Right.
Now I've shot one. I don't know how big it was, but I know when I grabbed his back leg, I had to really concentrate on what I was doing because that thing it had some serious dragging to do on that one. And he was, and I'm fairly strong, I'd say, but yeah, he's probably almost 200, and he was a good sized pig.
Cripes.
Yeah, 200-pound whitetail here is a big deer.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we can get them that big, but it'd be more Central Texas, more where you get to like those high fence places or where they got a lot of feeders going. Down here, like in the piney woods, we got some pretty wiry little deer. Get some good length on the horns, but not real thick horns.
yeah, they don't
if
get that
makes
mass.
sense.
Yeah, I've seen that
Yeah.
through Texas. They get some real pretty big racks, but yeah, they don't carry mass through them.
Kind of thin. Yeah, but
Right.
we got. I guarantee you, there are some piney woods bucks that probably die of old age out here. They can sneak through all these pine trees and yopons and never get seen by a guy. Maybe get caught on a trail camera and that's it. But they just move around at night only, and it's really tough to get on. And some of these bedding areas are just so thick. There's just no earthly way you could get in there without them knowing it. And the wind goes in every direction in there too.
Probably thick and probably got I'm imagining a lot of pickers and this and that, right?
Yeah. I don't know if y'all got pickers, but I think we got kind of the same thing. It's just a blackberry bush. It's thorns, but they're hooks.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's probably the same thing. But yeah, in the springtime they make little blackberries. You can pick them and make pie. But yeah, we deal with that, and when you get a combination of yopon, which is a real common bush down here, and then pine trees above it, and it drops those needles on the yopon, it makes it all really a lot thicker. But you'll be walking through there, and you can look. If you look down, like knee level, there's just these little tunnels that go through, and that's where the animals move in. Like I said, mostly the pigs do that, but the deer as well.
Yeah. Right on.
It's interesting down here. I've been to Illinois before, and the terrain was a lot different, and I could see how those guys. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but I think it's easier than hunting down here.
Yeah,
It can be real tough.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think everybody feels about like Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, that whole.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go do some whitetail hunting, that's the place to be. It doesn't look.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's easy because people get really uptight about that, but it looks
Oh,
less
no.
difficult. We'll put it that
Looks
way.
rich with game and not venomous snakes and spiders.
Right.
Right. Yeah. It can be tough down here. Of course, we got all these ranches and stuff, and that's South Texas is what Texas is famous for. That's where you see, like, you got the cactus, the mesquite trees, and big, huge, giant bucks on walking across the sendero, and basically you just sit on a road, and that's your shooting lane,
Right.
and then deer just move through all those mesquite trees, and down there everything's got thorns on it, so you're not chasing after them either.
Man.
And that's what Texas is famous for right there.
Yeah, so it's south to north, very different, different landscape, huh?
Yeah, the north is more. I kind of like north, slightly northwest, where you start getting into like oak trees, more hardwoods. Down here, I got all these like pine trees down here, but where I was hunting this last season, it was more hardwoods, and a lot easier to read that terrain than it is at the piney woods, for sure.
Right on, man. Well,
But as far as hunting the draw hunts, you can hunt anything from nilgai antelope to aoudad sheep to axis deer, all on public land.
It's so crazy how many animals are in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the nilgai are super cool to hunt. I want to go do that again. It's just like this big gray deal with like 6-inch long horns. It smells like a giraffe. They're real. They're super weird looking. And it's down there. It's way down at the border almost. Some of the guys that draw the tag come from Mexico to come here and hunt, and they bow hunt it because I guess they're not allowed to buy guns or nothing there. So it got when I went down there, it was real interesting.
Now, a lot of those animals, they're introduced, I take it, like the aoudad
Yeah.
and...
The nilgai was brought over from India by the King Ranch, and they used it to, I guess, to feed the workers. Well, they bred and overpopulated over there, and they just thrive. I guess it's a lot like India down there, I guess, but that's a real tough animal to hunt because they're used to getting hunted by tigers and stuff. Super jumpy. I snuck up to a cow nilgai, and it was probably 40-mile-an-hour winds, and I'm walking, sneaking up to where it was bedded, and I went to just lift my head up, and you could just see it take off, and it's one of those animals that when it runs, it goes to the next county. It's gone.
Right.
yeah, it's anticipating being chased by something that's as fast or faster than it, huh?
Yeah, that hunting one of those is probably a lot easier with a rifle. I was bow hunting them, and it's all flat land too. It's definitely a tough hunt.
Yeah, well, if you're genetically wired to be running from a friggin' tiger, a hairless ape
Yeah.
like us, I mean,
Yeah,
good luck.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. It's interesting.
Speaking of good luck to you. You got what, daughter number 4 on the way?
Yeah. Like you said, I'm a glutton for punishment.
Just sign up for the Nevidal program.
Yeah. Hopefully at least one of them wants to go hunting with me eventually.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking there's going to be that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. I've taken my oldest one. She was 7 years old when I took her. They can't sit still too long. But we did see a coyote, so that was fun.
No, that's cool.
She got a kick out of that. And, she's walked with me in the national forest before, and I just got to get her out more. But the way she's just a girly girl. She's not really into all that as much. So I'm trying to get her out there.
Yeah, well, I think later on set, they might find their way into it. But yeah, I think at a young age, it's. I don't know, man. It sounds like it's scarier going into woods down there than it is up here too. So there's that going for you too. If you're a little kid and you're like, "Hey, don't step on that snake; that'll kill you."
Yeah, I remember when I was little, man. I'd walk around everywhere with the Ruger 1022, and I only liked the 1022 because it was semi-auto. But I was always looking for snakes. Following my dad and his buddies, we would sneak up on big group of pigs and set up, and everybody get ready to shoot. And we'd shoot as many pigs as we could before they all ran off. And I think my dad told me one time there was a bunch of little piglets running around. They were about hot dog size, and he told me, "I'll give you $1 for every one you catch." I ended up catching one.
Nice. Oh, man.
Well, it sounds like a wild place, man, and I'm glad we had this
Yeah.
conversation and that you shared that stuff with us. And in the future, it'd be cool. Maybe we can recap your season next year or something along those lines. But yeah, you were our experimental phone call in, and I think it was a success. So I think we'll be doing more of these going forward.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Whenever y'all are ready to come down, y'all come on down and we'll shoot some pigs. If I were y'all, I'd come down mid-January, early February while it's still cool.
Yeah,
Before it
that
gets
sounds
uncomfortable.
real nice.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
real
For that.
nice.
Y'all probably think it's a vacation. It's normally around 50 degrees, 60 degrees or so.
That's a
T-shirt weather for y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you ain't kidding.
If it's 50 in January, it was almost negative 40 here in January this year. So that's a 90-degree temperature swing for us to come down there.
Man, the coldest I've ever been is 19 degrees, and I thought I was going to die.
No, that's a heat wave.
Yeah. And I was telling myself while I was shivering in my tent, I said, I'm going to buy a Kafaru tent with a stove if it's the last thing I do.
Well,
I was hurting.
I'll tell you what, man. Honestly, I don't know. It can depend on the situation, but 19 degrees sometimes doesn't feel too much different than 19 below. But I don't know, man. You get some wind introduced to that, and it can get interesting. But the good thing about the cold is you can dress. You can dress for it, right? Like, you can put on enough stuff and you can go out there and, yeah, it can be 19 below, but you're dressed for it and you're fine. You cannot dress for 104.
No, you can't. You just have to deal with being really sweaty. Basically, when it's early season, I don't even look at rain gear because if I get rained on, who cares? It is how I look at it, because if I put rain gear on, I'll sweat more underneath it and I'll still get wet.
Right.
Is how we do it.
Right.
Yeah, it can get just There's just certain things down here. Yeah, but when it gets cold, it seems like everybody's out. But summertime, everybody just locks themselves in the house.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess that's an opportunity to be in the woods when no one else is too, huh?
Yeah. When everybody's too scared to be out there and get sweaty, that's a good time to go.
Tape a bunch of ice packs to you.
Yeah, I carry one of those. It's not Yeti, but it's an Arctic, just an insulated bottle.
Oh,
instead
yeah.
of my now. Yeah, and I'll put ice in it and everything. And even when you're walking, you can hear that ice jingling around, but who cares? It's just too damn hot.
You call some animals in for a cool drink.
Yeah, when I go scouting, at least here forward, I'm gonna start leaving in the dark. Start walking in the dark before if it gets to 9 a.m., it's already way too hot. So try and get all my scout done before then, and just do it that way. We've done roofing jobs where we just decided to work at night instead of working in the daytime.
Right.
It'll get that hot.
I could see that for sure, man.
Definitely.
Getting out of that sun.
Yeah, we pressure tested some, when I was a pipe fitter, we pressure tested some pipe, filled it up with water hose pressure. It was 40 PSI, and then we went to lunch, came back, and it was over 300. That black pipe got that hot.
Just turned to steam in there.
Yeah, we opened the valve on the little deal, and it flipped around and hit the little peg on the other side on the gauge.
No shit.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's intense, man. Sounds like an intense environment down there.
It can be. Yeah, it can't be going home drinking a whole bunch of beer the night before, nothing like that. You just got to take care of your body.
Yeah, that's the worst, man. You get working with a hangover and it's 100+ degrees. You got that headache because you're already all dehydrated.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
just stinking, smelling it, sweating out of your pores.
That's the mistake every tradesman learns the hard way, though.
Yep. Yeah, when I was an apprentice, when I used to party a lot, go out drinking, and it's just like, why did I have to do that?
Right, yeah.
I have to just bite the bullet and just drink some Gatorade or something,
And everybody knows it, too, because you just stink like booze when you're sweating all that stuff out.
Yeah, or some of the welders I used to work with, they just drink on the job,
Well, 3 daughters and a pregnant wife will set you straight, huh?
You darn right.
I don't know. It might drive you to the booze even harder.
I guess there's a valid point there too, huh?
Man, I'm lucky to just get out and go deer hunting. I don't have time, If she Lee's lets me do that, I'm fine, man. But it's when summertime, man. It's hard to get out on the weekend and go get all hot and sweaty for half the day or the whole day
Right.
after you've been doing it all week.
Right. Yeah, well, I hear that. Well, right on, man. Well,
Yeah,
we appreciate your time. It was a fun conversation.
definitely.
Look forward to doing it in the future. And let's see, maybe we'll make our way down to
Tejas.
Make our way down to Tejas here one of these days for a little public land pig hunting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it could be a real affordable trip. I think a 5-day license is around $100.
Oh,
nice.
I think it could be a real affordable trip for y'all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be badass.
Or a necklace
Yeah.
of tusks when I come back.
Yeah. Those tusks don't get as big as people think,
No.
but they are razor sharp. Yeah.
Man, nasty little animal.
Yeah, they are.
Well, thanks, Harry. Yeah, if people
Yep.
want to follow along on your hunting excursions, you got an Instagram page and you're Harry Stanley on Facebook, and what's your
Yep.
handle on there on Instagram?
It's TX Public Land Hunter. I'm on there, got my antics going on, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right on. Well, thanks,
Yep.
dude.
Awesome.
Yeah, good
Yep.
deal, man. It was nice talking to you.
Y'all have a
Talking
good
with you,
one.
Harry.
Yes, y'all too. Have
Take
a good
care,
one.
bud.
Definitely.
Bye.
Bye.
Right
Cool.
on.
Man, hour on the dot.
Texas, what do you think? Head down there?
Piggies sound interesting.
Yeah, I think. I'm thinking barbecue.
Dude, yeah, my dad shot a boar, and man, that thing was delicious.
Yeah,
Very good.
it was delicious.
I don't know. I've had it. I know I've had it, but I can't remember.
I've heard that the boars versus the sows, like he was saying, they do have a certain taste to them or funk.
Odor.
Odor. I've seen some programs where they'll catch them and actually like sterilize them, then re-release them just so that when they
Castrate them.
yeah, so that when they do get shot or whatever harvested, it's actually gonna be a pig worthwhile, good tasting meal.
Right on.
I got to imagine you can smoke those to taste good just about through any circumstances.
Oh yeah.
We're still recording. I do too. Let's wrap this up. Sign off.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Thanks.